Wealth in astrology. Wealth in astrology can be seen, it's called a dhan yoga, and most likely indicator of it is having a dhanista moon. In tropical astrology, that's approximately from about 23 degrees Capricorn to about 5 degrees Aquarius. I'm not sure exactly. Um, that's known as the dhanista moon. Dhan in Sanskrit means wealth. The biggest signifiers of wealth in a chart, you see the second, the fifth, the ninth houses, the 10th and 11th, right? And the first. And that might sound like a lot, like that might just sound like everything, but you look at the lords of what planet is ruling what house. And let's say you have two or three of them conjunct in a certain place, like for example 1, 5 and 9, the tricona houses, they're seen as the benefic houses. They're wealth, they're not just wealth, it's basically usually great things come from those houses. The second house has a lot to do with wealth, and the 11th house has to do with gain. So if you had, let's say, the ruler of the second house and the ruler of the 11th house in the fifth house, then you would see a lot of financial status gains from special talents. The fifth house represents special talents. And it is in that would being in the fifth house, it's opposing the 11th house. So when things transit through your 11th house, then they're going to trigger a response in the fifth house. Ninth house can be publications. It's your dharmic house, higher learning, that sort of thing. So like if you have like the ruler of the second and the ruler of the first in the ninth house, you're very likely to attain a lot of wealth as well. As I say, the second and the ninth. The second, once again, it's got to do with finances, value, things that you're worth. But I'm generally talking about benefic planets here. Then you can earn that from like higher education, publications, that sort of thing. The more you have, the better, the stronger it is, the more likely you are to achieve. If you have Jupiter close to Pluto, that can be known as the millionaire conjunction. Bill Gates has that, I think, in the second house. I'd have to double check that. One of the, or if not the richest man in the world. I don't keep up to date with these things. Jupiter being the great benefic, inflating anywhere it's placed, and Pluto being power. If you have like your ascendant lord, the ruler of the first house, conjunct, let's say, the ruler of the fifth house in the 10th house, then you could personally make a lot of money from special talents in regards to career. So if you make, like if you were, let's say, like fifth house special talents being like musician, it can be astrology. It's kind of stuff that like people generally don't really take to. That's why they call it special talents. Like if you've Saturn in the fifth house, you would have less relationships, that kind of thing. Fifth house can be to do with relationship. It really depends on what planet is placed there. If you Saturn in the fifth house, then you can develop special talents rather than expending your energy in relationships and that sort of thing. But yeah, if you had the ruler of the first and the ruler of the fifth in The 10th house, you can make a lot of money from making a career out of your special talents. There's many different wealth, like just very simply, you can have Jupiter in the second house, or the first house, and that would just attract wealth to you. And Jupiter in place anywhere it is, so the first house, you have a big inflated personality. You'd be lucky just in general. Um, you have it in the second house, that's got to do with finances. So you have good finances. Um, yeah, that's pretty much a general good indicator of wealth. If you've got any of those things, then um, go for it. Go for it, man.